Good morning. It's Wednesday. I'm Wayne. Welcome to Wednesdays with Wayne, brought to you by the Real Estate Business School, where you get your license and learn to use it. This is the learn to use it part. Today, I'm going to tell you how I used it to make a bunch of money. I've been on hundreds of listing presentations. When I got here, when I got to Austin, I was down $2 million, pretty bad shape, mentally, spiritually, financially, emotionally, physically, mentally burned out, but done. But I still had hope. I thought there might be something out there I could do. So I got into real estate at the worst possible time in the middle of a recession. So, like I said later, every problem begins with a good idea. I have a good idea. Let's start selling houses in the middle of a recession. So, anyway, before I get into that, the first thing I want to do is thank you for your time. Thank you for showing up. Today, as always, this program is brought to you by the Real Estate Business School. I'm going to show you what I do. When I talk about, our tagline is what? Okay, thank you. The tagline is get your license, learn to use it. I'm doing my best to show you how to use it. And I do that because it's not about trying to tell you what to do or how to live your life or any of that stuff. I'm just to tell you what I did and how I did it, why I did it that way. And if it helps, great. If it doesn't, no problem. I just found that I want to somehow be of use. And if this helps, great. I hope it does. So it's not something I read in the book and I thought was cool and I'd repeat it. These are my actual experiences that I'm relaying to you. Things I've said, things I've done. Some of them turned out great. Some of them I got mediocre results, and some I just called it a day of learning on. So, but as you can see, it's pretty much an open book. So, this topic that PJ chose for me today is how to find your niche in real estate. So, this is how you use your license. I made some notes to make sure that I stay on track. So bear with me as I read. I want to make sure that I'm staying on track because sometimes I tend to wander. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. First thing is, no matter what business you're in, you got to have a niche. Well, what is a niche? A niche is an untouched, untapped segment on the market. It's where low competition and high demand. So what I'm looking for consistently is a niche. So that's one thing we're looking for in real estate. There's a lot of niches in real estate. You can do leasing, you can do residential leasing, commercial leasing, you can do residential or commercial sales, you can do property management, you can do investing, you can do appraising, you can do surveying, you can do contracting, you can do development. There's all kinds of so many opportunities. It's just the best business in the world, bar none. And so that's why I love it. So I started off in sales, first working buyers. I found out pretty soon, fairly quickly, that was what I call a dead dog loser. And the reason why is because when I look at you as realtors, licensees, I see business people. And as business people, we've got to be good stewards of our resources, time, energy, money. And most people don't measure the time and don't measure the energy, just measure the money. And so there's an old saying, time is money. Well, time is not money. Time is time. Money is money. They're two different things. This is why most people are broke, because they're confused. And so what I'm doing my best to do is get rid of the confusion. So time is not money. Time is time. But what you do with your time determines how much money you're going to have. And the more money you have, the more you can buy back your time. By that, what I mean is you stop doing all the menial tasks that you have to do every day to eat up so much of your time and don't make money. So how many hours a day do you spend on income producing activities? And if you'll track that stat every day and look at it over a period of months, and you see how many hours per day you're actually spending on income producing activities, you'll see why you're struggling financially. You don't spend enough time on the subject. So how do we make the most amount of money with the least amount of time, money, and energy invested? So I see you as business people. I see you as investors, because we're all investing our time and our energy and our money, either in relationships or in business deals. And if the ROI dries up, we leave, whether it be personal or professional. We don't go where there aren't returns. Insane people do that, but some people, sane people will not do that. So, how do you generate business? Well, prospecting, obviously. What's the purpose of prospecting? Find someone who wants to do business today. Keyword being today. So, what's the worst four-letter word in the English language? There are a lot of four-letter words out there. We're taught not to use them. We're taught not to say them. But there is one that doesn't make the list, I think should be on the list. And the worst four-letter word in English language to me is wait. And I see I hear it a lot. I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for them to call me back. I'm waiting for them to send me an email. I'm waiting for them to sign the contract. Stop waiting. Waiting's like hard work. It's overrated and won't do you any good. So don't wait. Find someone who wants to do business today. So let me ask you a question. When your license arrived in the mail, did your phone start ringing? Did the word spread like wildfire and people start driving over to your house, knocking on your door, calling you and go, please help me buy a house. Please list my property. That would be no, Bob. It doesn't happen. You don't have a storefront. They're not going to walk in. They're not going to drive in. They're not going to come by. They're not going to call you. So you've got to be proactive. You've got to have a plan and a strategy to go out and generate business. There's over 100 ways to generate leads. You are in the lead generation and education business. It's not about selling houses. So there's some agents that think it is. They're very transactional, and they live and die by the transaction. This is why they struggle. They don't rebuild relationships along the way. It's a long-term relationship building business. So if you can get that, then you got to do two things. Find someone today who wants to do business today and get them to hire you to represent them. So how do you find someone to do business with you today? And what will you say to them when you find them? How will you find them? What do you say to them when you do find them? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So there are two buckets of people. People you know and people you don't know. So you got to be proactive. And the first thing you got to do is program your mind. What I mean by program your mind is when you get into business, typically you're going to spend a lot of time getting people to yes. And you don't really have to get them to yes. All you got to do is get rid of all of these. And if you get rid of all of these, then all you have left is yes. But a lot of people want to say no, and a lot of us are programmed. There's some people, their skin is so thin, 6 no's, they're out of the business. So I just want to talk about this word for a few minutes. You've got to get to the point where you can't hear this. Now, I want to frame this really carefully and properly. So let me say, just to go on the record right now, when a woman says no to you, it means no, period. That's not a negotiation. I'm talking about marketing and business transactions. So when I hear this word, I don't hear this word. When someone says no to me, I don't hear this. This is what I hear. So it's either not yet or not now. So I'm just going to ask you to come from your personal experience right now. How many of you have received an email or a mail or a postcard or a letter, and you looked at it, you glanced at it, you read it, like, no, I don't want that right now. How many of you found that a short time later you wish you'd had that back because you decided you wanted it? Okay, thank you. So that's what I'm talking about. See, you didn't say no, you said not now. Not yet. It happens all the time. 80% of your business comes from follow-up. 80% of your business, it's not going to come from the lead gen. It's not going to come from the first contact. It's going to come from the follow-up. You got to follow up. So this is what I'm thinking might be most helpful today is what is your niche in real estate? So it's not about getting paid today. It's about creating relationships that pay you forever via referrals. But you got to start somewhere. So where do we start? We start on the fundamentals. So here's what I call the four fundamentals. First of all, choose your market. Then choose your niche. Then contact your peeps and make appointments, and then deliver the message. So it's choose your market, choose your niche, make the contacts, and deliver your message. So on the market and choosing your market, you're going to have two markets you can choose from. Buyers, people who want to buy houses, or sellers. As I said, I started off with buyers. About 6 months into it, I realized it just doesn't work, and I'll tell you why. Because first of all, you can only work one of these at a time. For these, you can work as many as your systems will allow you to. And so I'll get into mindset and mind frames again. If you hear a lot of people say, again, the thoughts that keep us poor and struggle, broke, and working hard and getting nowhere, thoughts like, if it is to be, it's up to me. If you want it done the right way, you do it yourself. Nobody does it better than me. My customers want to hear from me, me, dead dog loser. You've got to have systems. People run the system, systems run the business. If your systems are good, you can hold a bunch of listings. There's no reason you shouldn't have 40, 50 listings at least simultaneously. How many buyers can you work at once? One. One. You get a husband and wife in the car, that's twice that many, right? That's two. They can't agree. How are you going to get a bunch of strangers together in a van and go show them houses? Man, that's never going to happen. So it's one-on-one. One-on-one. There's no leverage in it. We covered this subject last week. What is leverage? How's it work? So when you're doing listings, focusing on sellers as your market, you're highly leveraged because you're doing more with less. Here you're doing less with more. And I'll give you a financial method you can use to do this on analysis if you want. I mean, don't take my word for it. Just go out and assign yourself a dollar value. I'm worth blank per hour. And look how many hours you spend on this. Number of hours times your rate. There's your dollar figure. Do the same thing over here. When you go and get these listings, how many hours did it take you to get that listing? What's your hourly rate? How much money are you due? And then take this and compare it to your commission check when it closes. The bigger number wins. So like all business decisions, we get emotional. When emotion goes up, intelligence comes down. You've got to use stats, figures, statistics to make your decisions. So once you do this analysis, I think you can see this is a dead dog loser. Sellers are the way to go. There's several reasons why. Number one, you can handle more than one at a time. Number two, it forces you to build systems and hire people, which you need to be doing. People aren't expensive. They're not an expense. They're an addition to your team to help you make more money. That's what everybody does. You get together as a group and you make more. Everybody makes more. The second thing is, who gets the credit for the sale? This buyer's invisible. When buyers sell houses, their name's not on the sign. The listing agent's name is on the sign. The neighbors don't know who sold that house. They don't know who the agent is that represented the buyer. They don't even know who the buyer is. They'll meet them later at the local HOA party. So the listing agent's a lot better off because, first of all, once you can take command of an area, then you've got little billboards all over the place, lawn signs, and places that still allow it. I understand some don't. So don't make that a reason to not do it. So you got billboards everywhere. Your name is everywhere. So what you do is, what I did, I would take these listings, and I'll go into it in a minute, but once you get the listing, then you start taking control of the market. So you send out this postcard. As soon as it comes on the market, you blanket the area with postcards. Those postcards have headlines. We went into this in an earlier session. 4 pieces to an ad. It's the interrupt, which is the headline, the engage, educate, offer. Interrupt, engage, educate, offer. Headline, subheadline, body, and then the call to action. These are the parts to an ad. So the headline, let me get one that works here. That's the headline. This is on his 5x8 postcard. He did it again. We just got some graphics, and it's really nicely done. Big ones. Mail them out. He did it again. Holy mackerel. What did he do now? Well, he listed a house at blah, 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 blah street. The last one he listed sold in 30 days within 98% of asking price. And he'll sell this one too. Once you're sold, call here. This is it. Now, this is how you work sellers. So what happens is the neighbors know who I am. They see my sign, they get my card. They see my sign, they get my card. They see my sign, they get my card. Then it sells. What happens? It's a different message, right? But he did it again. He sold the house at the same address, right? Blah, 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 blah. He did it again. He did it again. Do I send this card once? No. Send this card a minimum of 3 times. Same card, send it 3 times. So when it comes on the market, guess what happens? He did it again. They go, boom. Do you have to do it to just one community? No. So I send these cards to 4 different subdivisions. Thousands went out. Thousands every month. Boom, 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 boom. Every time I listed something, boom, 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 boom. He did it again. He did it again. Was it limited to just my subdivision? No. Every time something happened, a card went out. And they went out every month, not once a month, but it was ongoing process. When do you stop marketing? Never. So every time something happened, these cards go out. So these printing presses are running. Boom, they did it again, did it again, did it again, did it again. And the message would change and the addresses would change, but the headline stayed the same. There's a big picture of me. Sold. But the message is this. He did it again, he did it again, he did it again, he did it again. This is why they have this Madison Avenue advertising called Create and Repeat. It's CNR. Create and repeat, create and repeat. It was designed in the 1940s, 1950s when television really started coming on strong. That's what Madison Avenue did. They realized that television was the cheapest medium for advertising because it reached a large amount of people and cost per ad. Back then it was like $4,000 a minute. It was really cheap. So they create these ads and you create these jingles. And people still remember a lot of them because, and then this is why it's called branding, because they keep repeating over and over and over and over and over until they burn it into your brain. They brand it. That's why it's called that. So after a year of this bombardment, the communities know who is representing the sellers. They know the listing agent. They have no idea who's selling these houses. Now, if you're hell-bent on working buyers, become a listing agent because that's how you attract them. Look, you can chase. This is what we're taught, right? Chase people hoping they choose you. And what, to me, the key is to become so attractive. Use the law of attraction, right? And you become so attractive, they chase you and you choose them. There's some buyers you don't want to put in your car, the ones with the bad FICO and no credit, no cash, and don't know what they want and take forever. No. Time, energy, money. We've got to conserve. We've got to deploy our resources to where we get a return. And it's not here. It's here. So you get the credit, you build a relationship, you build your business, you can do more with less, you control the market, you control the pricing, you've got history, you've got data, you've got the stats, and that's how you build it. So when I talk about choosing a market, my suggestion, ladies and gentlemen, is sellers all day long. Plus you get credit for the sale. So market sellers. Now define your niche. What prospecting tool will you use the most? You have two markets, warm market, cold market. After a while, you're going to burn through your warm market, family and friends. The more sociable you are, the longer it's going to take you. If you're like me, it didn't take long, like 2 phone calls. Well, there goes my warm market. My wife, Lynn, she's still talking to her warm market. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Oops, he did it again. Next is the niche. You got to find your niche. Find one of these that works. This is it. First, you find your market. Then you find your niche. What's a niche? Or niche, as they say down under. It's an untouched, untapped segment of the market. It's got low competition, high demand. Untouched, untapped. So there may be some competition, but you got to figure out, to me, is where you're going to focus. You can't do marketing one day, call it withdrawn listings the next day, call it expires the next day, just cold call out of the phone book the next day, excuse me, work FSBOs the next day and expect to get results. To me, the key is not to multitask, it's to focus, do one thing and master it. So I tried that farming gig. Farming is when I'm sure you know this, but just take a big community, big subdivision, and you walk it, you mail it, you call it, you knock on doors. And what you're doing is, this is why you hated it. You're waiting for someone to decide they want to sell their house. Waiting. I'm not going to wait. I can't stand sitting around waiting for something to happen. So I attacked the market. I did all those. I called expired listings. Didn't do so great at that. So you can go in MLS and so you get every day they're expiring. Why do they expire? Overpriced, undermarketed. That's why they died. Why are they withdrawn? Well, they just got sick of the process. They go, that's it, I'm done. They were probably also overpriced and undermarketed, but rather than just let the listing term, they gave up halfway through the process. That's it, I'm done. I'm withdrawing my property. I called and followed up, and I just didn't convert very well. Farming, man, I did that. It was a pain in the neck. I'm telling you, my results were dismal. So I kept looking. And then I started working for sell-by owners. And I'll tell you, this was the best ever. I'll tell you why I liked them. First of all, they were committed to selling. I didn't have to wait for them to make a decision to sell their house. I saw the sign in the yard and went, let's sell their house. They made an investment. That's $2 right there. They bought a sign. So back then when I was doing this, they still had that thing called a newspaper. And it was paper. It's really interesting. And so when you go in the back, they had a section in the paper, homes for sale. And there's all these FSBOs are in there. So the paper was 25 cents. So my cost per contact is like a penny. If there's 25 in there, it's a penny each, right? It's like, this is affordable. I mean, I can do this. I'm down 2 million, but I got a quarter. And so I started contacting them. Well, of course, you know what they said, right? No, You want a list? No. You want an agent? No. Can I come back? No. You might have to stay in touch? No. Are you sure? Yes. So anyway, I went through this process. Finally, I figured out I've got to ask them a question they can say no to, but the answer is yes. So I cogitated on this for quite a while. Finally came up with it. So here's how it works. Typically, a husband and wife. Well, first of all, let me ask you this: why are there for sale by owners in the marketplace in the first place? I mean, they've listed a home before. Well, I'll tell you why. Because, well, you already know why. Because they want to save money, and or they don't think a realtor is worth the 6% they charge or whatever they charge. In some places it's more, in some places it's less. But typically in our area where we are today, the average listing price typically is around 6%. So stores look at the number, they look at their price, their house, the price, they multiply the price to the house, the value that is never near what the value is because they're always over market. But they multiply it times 6% and they look what the realtor does and they go, no way. So it's the realtor's fault there's FSBOs out there. It's the real estate community, the real estate industry's fault that they're for sale by owners. And the reason I say that is because you list a house, you sell it in less than 30 days within 98% of asking price, or you get them full price for the house. Next time they hire a FSBO, why? You didn't tell them what you did to get that. They look at it, all they can see is what they can see, and their reality is it's easy because what they see you do, you put a sign, they signed a piece of paper, you put a sign in the front yard, a lock box on the door, and they went to closing. That was it. You did your job so perfectly that they decided to fire you. And so what we got to do is we have to be better, again, ask you, what business are you in? Education. And you got to tell these people, what do you do? How do you do it? Why do you do it that way? And what is the benefit to them? Because they need to know the benefit. Because they're always asking themselves, what's in it for me? Why should I do business with you? And why should I give you my money? And if you're going to take their money, you got to tell them what you did for it. If you did, they're not going to. If you did, they'll hire you again. If you never do it, they're going to hire somebody else to do it themselves because they don't get the value because we didn't tell them. So we got to tell them. And every time you do something, email them. It's a whole presentation. So take the listing agent course. All this is explained. We'll show you how to walk you through this. Bottom line is they get together. They're going to sell it on their own without a broker. So he says to her and she says to him, and they have this agreement that when you show up, they're going to tell you no. When you call, they're going to tell you no. When you knock on the door, they're going to tell you no. When you come by, they're going to tell you no. No, 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 no. So you got to ask them a question they can say no to. What the no means yes. So now we start thinking about this. How do we take, of all the 170,000 or so words in the English language, which ones do we choose and what order do we put them in to get people to say yes to us? So here's the question. First of all, let's walk through the process. What's the first rule in sales? Talk to the person who has the authority to make the decision. That's number one. So we're going to call this for sale by owner, or we're just going to go knock on the door. Either one's fine. I've done both. The first question is, are you the person with the home for sale? So if you call them, you go, I prefer calling them because you can sit down and call 25 people in a matter of 25 minutes versus driving over there. The person with the home for sale? Yes. Have you sold it? No. Now you introduce yourself. You disclose. Thank you. My name is Wayne Morgan. I'm a broker. And you stop. Cold start. And the reason I stop is because I want to take their temperature. I want to check their reaction on what I just said because they're adamant they're going to sell their home without me. And I want them to do it with me. So they've agreed they're going to say no. I just asked them if it's available. They said they were the seller. Yeah. Is available. Yeah. I'm a broker. So they go, oh, hey, Wayne, what can I do for you? Okay, great. They go, what do you want? Okay, different. Either one is fine. I just want to know. Is this going to be easy? Is this going to be hard? Either way, it's going to go. I've already made up my mind. We just got to get them through the process. So the educational process begins, and it starts with a no. When you hear this, sales process begins. Up until then, you're an order taker. You're just an order taker. Now we start earning our commission. We educate them. The first thing I'm going to do is figure out the market. Sellers, figure out the niche. FSBO. Why? Easy cost, cheap, low cost of contact. They're already motivated to sell. They're identified source. We don't want to convince them or wait. All I got to do is get the appointment. So the niche is FSBO. Oh yeah, 95% or greater eventually list with a broker. Almost every FSBO that ever starts off on eventually lists with a broker. So the odds are in our favor. You're not gonna get these odds anywhere else, except for my property development. Those are pretty good odds. 3, make the appointment. So what are we going to say when we make the appointment? They're going to say no. What are we going to say? Are you the person with the home for sale? Yes. Have you sold it? No. Okay, thank you. My name is Wayne Morgan. I'm a broker. What can I do for you? Would you be offended if I came by to see your home? No. Okay, great. Would 4 be okay or would 5 be better? What? I said no. No, you said you wouldn't be offended. That means yes. You with me? This is how you use your license. These are the tools. You've got to have command of the English language. Would you be offended if I came by to see your home? No. Great. I'll be in the area this afternoon. Would 4 be okay or would 5 be better? 5 would be better. Okay, great. May I have the address? It shows here in the paper it's 105 Stillwater. Is that still it? Yeah, that's it. Okay, I'll see you at 5. Okay, thanks. Get off the phone before they change their mind. Hang up quickly. That's it. That's how you get the appointment. So number 1, find your market. 2, find your niche. 3, make the appointment. This is how you make the appointment. If you're cold calling and they're not for sale by owners, this script won't work. Are you the person with the home for sale? They go, mine's not for sale. Oh, right. So it's a different script. So what would you say to people that are not on the market? They're not FSBOs. This is a 2-foot rule, okay? If there's prospecting, this is one of the ways to do it. Use the 2-foot rule. Anytime someone gets within 2 feet of you, you pitch them. Excuse me, may I ask you a question? Yeah, I'm a real estate broker, and I get a problem. I have more buyers than I have homes for. Do you know anyone interested in selling? What? I have more buyers than I have homes for. I desperately need homes to sell. Do you know anyone who's thinking about selling their home? I've been thinking about it. Really? I'll be in the area this afternoon. It's the same pitch. Have you had a market analysis done to determine the top value of your home before you put it on the market? No. One of these days, I don't know which day, but maybe one day. I see people on TV that have these all the time. They never fall out. Mine won't stay in. I don't know. I should probably get some tape or something. Hey, Lynn, could you bring me some duct tape? That'd look cool, wouldn't it? I know, I'm a loser. Can't put his earplugs in, but I can sell. So we want to educate them. Look, I don't care which way the economy goes. It's always a good time. Homes are always trading. They're always selling. When I got in the business in the depths of recession, homes were still selling. At the hot tide of the market, they're selling even faster. They sell faster for more money, but there's always a market for housing. So this is it. Are you the person with the home for sale? Have you sold it? Thank you. My name is Wayne Morgan. I'm a broker. Would you be offended if I came by to see your home? Great. I'll be in the area this afternoon when 4 will be okay, with 5 be better. Get off the phone. Okay. And then when you get there, always, of course, this goes without saying, be on time. And start noticing when you walk up, when you park the car and you get out, notice the lawn. What does the landscaping look like? Is there any? That's why so many people don't landscape their homes. What does the shrubbery look like? What do the trees look like? Forget about this ice storm. I'm talking about generally. What do the trees look like? What's the lawn look like? Is it patchy? Is it nice and green and thick and full? Is it a beautiful lawn? Or is it half dirt, half grass and patches and just crummy? Are there bushes? Is there flower beds in the house? Are they out in the lawn? Are the trees? Is it kept? Is it mowed? Is it clean? Is it nice? What's the roof look like? Is it aged? Is it composition shingles? Can you see it frayed? Is it clay? Is it tile? Is it metal? Is it in good shape? What color's the house? Is it clean? Is it neat? Does it need washing? Are there cobwebs and dirt daubers everywhere? Does it need paint? Just notice everything that's going to need to be done to get the property into tip-top shape to get top dollar. Okay. All right. Now, number 4. So that's it. Now we make the appointment. That's how you make appointments. You either walk up to people, cold strangers. So I approach them in HEB, in stores, anywhere. Join all these clubs and organizations. Join your local chamber of commerce. Join your HOA. Join all these clubs and organizations and stay there. Go to the meetings. Go, go, go. Get out. You don't have a storefront. They're not walking, coming, driving, or coming over. You got to go out and find them. Join all these clubs and organizations and get your elevator pitch down. Okay? Selling. I need inventory. I need good homes to sell. Do you know anyone you're interested in selling? No, I really don't. How about you? Have you considered selling? No, it's a great time to sell. Really? Yeah, it is. You want to know what your home is worth? I'd love to. Okay, great. I'll be in there tomorrow. Would 4 be okay? Would 5 be better? Okay, number 4, deliver the message. So go up. We have an appointment with the for sale by owner. We know that no means not yet. So we start the process. Knock on the door. First thing, knock on the door. Hi, it's Wayne Morgan. We had an appointment at 5. It's 5. Thank you for being on time. I thank them for being on time. And then I say, before I come in, just want to remind you that I'm here because I'm the only broker in the state that's going to help you sell your home without a broker. That's the start. That's my verbal headline. See, we're always talking in ads. It's always an ad. You'd never stop marketing. So whether it's an email where the headline is the subject line and then the headline of the body is the subheadline, if it's print, you have the headline, then the subheadline, then the body, then the call to action. When you're talking, you're still talking in ad speak. There's still a headline, right? Then there's a subject line, subheadline. Then you educate, which is what the meeting's about. You don't jump to the body. You got to introduce it. Just remember a reminder why I'm here. I'm the only broker in the state that's going to help you sell your home without a broker. What do they want to do? They want to sell their home without a broker. Well, tell them what they want to hear. Don't argue with them. They're going to write you a check. Be nice. Be cooperative. So I did. Actually, that's what I did. I helped them sell their home without a broker. They said, why would you do that? I said, well, not everyone that comes by is going to buy your home. If you don't mind, if I help you sell your home and get you the price you want, would you send those buyers that don't buy it back to me? Because I need some buyers. Yeah, I guess. Okay, great. Can I give some? Yeah, do I'm to see your house while I'm here? Oh yeah, come on in. Now you have your list. 22 questions to ask every for sale by owner on the first visit. 22 questions. Why are you selling? Find out their motivations. You need to know this because you're going to ask them at the end, do you want me to give you 30, 60, or 90-day price? You need to know that. If the market's going down like this and they want a 90-day price, it's going to be less than it is today. Right? Right. If the market's doing this and they want a 90-day price, then the market's going to be greater than it is today. So we need to know why they're selling. Okay. Always, if you can, find out their motivations. Why are you selling? Why are you selling? And then, do you mind if I ask what you're asking for your home? They'll tell you. Do you mind if I ask where you got your price? And they'll tell you. I want 550,000. 550. You're thinking 450, right? They go 550. You go 550. Okay, good. Where'd you get? Mind if I ask where you got your price? Yeah, our neighbors sold for 500, and we have a tree. Tree. Yeah. FHA put it out there. That's FHA tree. They got to put them in, you know. Yeah, I know that. Okay, well, 550. Okay, yeah, 550. So the tree's 550, house comes with it. 22 questions. If you want, let us know. I'll send them to you. The 22 questions to ask on the first visit. Then I have a brochure. It's a trifold brochure. It's like this. It's got writing on the front. You open it up. It's got writing here. You open it up. It's 3 panels. It's on the back. Every panel's got something. So these are pretty cool because they're easy. They're small. There's 6 spots you got on there. And I go, the 5 things that are going to sell your home: price, terms, condition, exposure, the broker who represents you. Now I have this verbiage, right? It's all rehearsed. It's all memorized. And you say it to every one of them over and over and over. You deliver the message. What's going to elevate, separate, differentiate, and distinguish you from every other agent that's calling on them? Because you're not the only person they're talking to. If they're talking to you, they're talking to other people. So you start. I'm the only broker in the state that's going to help you sell your home without a broker. Then you ask the 22 questions, okay? And then what I would do is I would tell them there are 5 things going to sell your home: price, terms, condition, exposure, broker who represents you. As far as price, I think you're okay. This is not the time to get into a pricing conversation. That's at the official, formal listing presentation, which you're going to ask them for later. Right now, we're building rapport. We're getting to know them. We're getting to know the property. We're putting our presentation together in our mind as we're going through this process. We're figuring out if you know NLP, if they're visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. We're figuring out if they're dominant, influencing, steady, or compliant, DISC. And we're figuring that out because we don't know how to put our presentation together, because you've got to have 4 different presentations, DIS or C. It's got to be presented one of 3 different ways: visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. So we have to have the right presentation. We have to have the right delivery method. So we're doing market research now. We're gathering all this information while we're talking to them. And as we're talking to them, all this is on autopilot, so we're watching them. We're watching their reactions. We're watching their face. We're being very observant as to how they react, because they're telegraphing. They're communicating to us. It's just not verbal. Okay? Okay. 5 things. As far as price, I think you're okay. Terms means we've had a recent rise in interest rates. Buyers that can qualify at 5% can't qualify at 8%. But if we want that 5% buyer, we could help them with some financing. So rather than lower the price, which is crazy, what we can do is take some of that money and just pay some of the buyers, buy down the rate so the buyer can get a lower interest rate, which makes your home affordable, which makes it saleable. Affordable is saleable. They're not affordable. That's why they're not saleable. There's nothing wrong with the house. It's the buyers can't qualify. Not many people pay cash for homes in this price range, especially. I mean, these are move-up buyers, but they're still getting mortgages. And when it goes from 3 to 8, the payments triple. They're sweating it at 3 and 4, maybe 5 is struggle. If they can't do 4, they can't do 8. If they can't do 3, they can't do 8. But if they could do 5, and you can get from 7 to 5, well, we can do that easily with my lender. So rather than reduce the price of your house $50,000, just take about 20, put it toward the loan, or 10, or whatever you want to do, and we'll get the rate down where buyers can qualify. Next thing you know, this thing's sold, and it's not that hard. And I know you don't want to work with a broker, so we can talk about it later if you're interested. But there's a lot of ways to do this. But that's what terms means. So as priced, I think you're okay. Now we wet their hook. We hopefully got them curious. We can offer terms. So price, terms, condition. The home shows like a model. And then you look over at her and you go, how do you do it with your schedule? The home's beautiful. Because she's typically the designer and the decorator. At least my house, it is. I don't do that. But my wife is excellent at it. Um, Exposure. It's price, terms, condition, exposure. And so I would say to them, you know, I know you don't want to hire a broker, and I get it, but let me tell you what buyers are not going to do. They're not going to do this, okay, because they don't do it. So see, I just said it 3 times. I'm going to tell you what buyers are not going to do. They're not going to do this, okay, because they don't do it. What they're not going to do, I'll say it again, is they're not going to come into Austin, rent a car, buy a map, and drive neighborhoods looking for sale by owners. Not going to do it. Now I've said it 6 times. What they are going to do is find a broker. They're probably in a relocation program. Their company bought their existing property. They've got a timeline. They've got to buy. These are motivated buyers. They got to buy out. Their home is sold. They need to buy and they need to move. They're coming through our relocation network. We take the information, all the data they want in their new home, we put it into multiple listing service. Then multiple listing service spits out a list of homes that match that criteria. Those are the homes that get shown. Those are the homes that get sold. So by not being represented by a broker, you're not in MLS. You basically hidden your property from the marketplace. And you wait and don't talk. Last one's broker represents you. We sold 5,000 houses last year, all within 30 days with 98% of asking price, or whatever your stats are. By we, it means you, you and your wife, you and your husband, you and your significant other, you and your roommate, you and your office, you and your company, the real estate community in general. We is a vague, ambiguous term that means a whole lot of things and really nothing. It means a bunch of people. Who's we? If they go, who's we, you need to tell them. But you can use we, meaning your whole company. And so if your company's got 5 offices in Austin and each office is doing 10 million a month, well, you're doing a bunch of volume, you're selling a bunch of houses, and you go get some statistics from the office managers and go put this presentation together. And then next thing you know, you're sounding incredible. They're thinking, maybe. Well, not yet. But if you can just get them off a no today, that's progress, right? And that's all we want. We're not going to go over there and slam dunk these people. We're going to educate them and show them what we do, how we do it, why we do it that way, and the benefit to them. So this is step one. Now, we leave. We go, okay, I've taken enough of your time. Don't wait for him to start on one foot, then the other, waiting for you to go. Leave before you're invited to leave. Get out of there. Don't wear out. You're welcome. But you want a way out, I would always say, do you mind if I stay in touch? And okay. Oh, one more thing. Colombo, right? Do you have contracts in case someone shows up? Do you have the seller's disclosure? Because you're going to need one of those. And you're on a septic, right? So you need that septic addendum and your HOA. You need an HOA addendum and all those documents too. You got to remember in your contract to put in there who pays that fee. Typically, they want the seller to pay it, but you got to negotiate that. You know how to do all this, right? If you want to just drop them off, oh, that's right, they're promulgated. You can't use those. Well, maybe this is an example. Anyway, do you mind if I stay in touch? No, that'd be fine. Okay, thanks. Thank you for your time. And take off. That's it. Then follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. Every Friday, call them. We're going to have a great weekend. Lots of buyers in the marketplace. They're out driving, looking for homes. They're with realtors. They're getting shown. They're getting sold. Are you holding it open this weekend? Oh, yeah, we're holding it open. We're excited. Okay, great. Well, good luck. I'll talk to you next week. Sunday, call them. Just call them to follow up with you. Did you sell the home? No, not yet. Nobody showed up. No one showed up. You're kidding me. We had a lot of traffic. No one showed up. No one showed up. I've never had an open house where no one showed up. No, no, never. At least not yet. Friday call them, Sunday call them. Friday call them, Sunday, Monday's fine. Friday, Sunday. Going to the office. And the office I was in had these huge 4x8 boards, and they were put horizontally. They had listings on one and sales on the other. I go in there and check on the sales on Sunday. Oh, wow. We sold 6 houses this weekend. That's incredible. I call us, we sold six this weekend. How'd you do? What? We sold six this weekend. I could sell your house, but just need to sign a couple of forms. Okay. Remember, 80% comes follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up. That's it. That's how you choose your niche in real estate. So if you're licensed, that's my recommendation. That's your market. That's your make appointments. That's your message. That's your niche. Again, today's presentation was brought to you by the Real Estate Business School, where you'll get your license and learn to use it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is how I used it. So hopefully this was helpful. I'll end the way I started. Thank you for your time. Thank you for showing up. If you got any tips on keeping these in my ear, feel free to send them over. Other than duct tape. I was kidding about that, you know. Anyway, thank you. This has been Wednesdays with Wayne. Always appreciate your time. And I hope you find this the time well spent. I'll see you next Wednesday at 9 o'clock when it's Wednesdays with Wayne. Thank you so much. Okay, bye.